Yahusha, she's, going after false gods.
Okay, if you can go to Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter. Verse 1. And we're going to dissect this with a fine-tooth comb. Oh, yes. I mean, no, you can keep that running.
Okay.
But this one here is.
We still going.
Oh, okay.
We still going.
Huh? Oh, yeah, that's important too. Yeah, that ketubah is very, very important. This lets everybody know what is the agreement in the marriage. Aki Terrell, watch this. 24, yes, verse 1. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her the bill of divorce and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. If a woman commits adultery, what is the penalty? When we were living together in the land, we had our judges, we had our elders, and our leaders. If a woman committed adultery, what was the penalty?
Yeah.
How is it here in verse 24, the man is able to give her a bill of divorce?
That would be the uncleanness.
What is the uncleanness?
That she went out and actually committed adultery, had sexual relations with another man.
Okay, we read a little bit more. It says now.
Can you actually explain that word uncleanness or go into that?
It says, and when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Now, this can't be talking about adultery. Because if a woman commits adultery, she's put to death.
Yeah.
If he now gives her a bill of divorce, sends her out of his house, and she's now free to become another man's wife, this can't be talking about adultery, because adultery is death.
I agree.
Right. So, some uncleanness in her. That's a broad definition. But we had now, during the time of the Mashiach's ministry, we had two schools that was running. We had the school of Hallel and the school of Shammai. And they had asked them, can you divorce a woman for any reason? Because some were saying, oh, listen, if she burnt the toast, if she did, all this other crazy stuff, you can give her a bill of divorce. But the father said, unless she commits adultery. Because we have something now, what they call the permissive will of the father and the perfect will of the father. The perfect will of the father is that the father never set up in the beginning divorce. Never. Let no man put us asunder. But now we have a situation here in Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter now, where that man now found some type of uncleanness in her. Now, can we list some of these uncleannesses now that might be in her that might be causing a problem inside of the household? What if now this woman now was involved in necromancy? What if now you're married to a woman, okay, she's in the back room, okay, with voodoo dolls, with black candles, and talking about shuka, shaka, 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 zoo, and all this other stuff now, putting up demonic spirits all in the house? Do you believe that you have the right now, because you have found some type of uncleanness in her, to give her a bill of divorce and send her out of the house? If she's now killing chickens in the house and throwing chicken blood all over the house, all right, and over your children, and calling up disagreeable spirits, using Ouija boards and all of this stuff all inside of your house, do you believe that is by definition some type of uncleanness? And do you believe that you have a right, according to Torah, using verse 24, to send her out of the house and say, listen, you know what? You need, me personally, I would say, listen, you know what? You need a knucklehead just like you. All right? you go practice necromancy, witchcraft, prognostication, those things with him. Go do that with him. Go be his wife. Because we're not equally yoked. We can't run together.
Because, Lord,
Yes.
there's because according to what you just said, there's a scripture in the Apocrypha that says that a wicked woman is given to the portion of a wicked man.
Yes, that's what I was trying to actually find that here.
Right, I think that's in Sirach 20, I think 25. Right.
No, I mean, you explained it a long time ago, and I'm glad you went deeper into that. You explained it a long time ago what you said. The uncleanliness is different. Her being put to death, she was supposed to put to death on adultery, so you did make it clear the differences between this scripture and the other scripture. So, yeah, I stand corrected. I agree with what you're saying.
Okay, and the other thing too now is that what we try to do, remember, this is going to be very important. When we come into the Hebrew walk, we don't want to leave our brains at the doings.
Right.
Okay? This is just common sense. All right? You give your daughter to a young man with the expectations that they're going to follow Torah. Your daughter calls you and say, Daddy, all right, such and such is beating me up. This makes the third time that he's giving me a black eye. Daddy, I'm afraid the next time that he hits me and knocks me unconscious, I might hit my head on the corner of the coffee table and I might not wake up. Do you believe you as a father has a right to go over there and get your daughter out of that house because her life is now at stake?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying now is because you still have that responsibility because you are your brother's keeper, is what I'm trying to get at here. And this is what the Father was trying to explain, okay, to Cain. You are your brother's keeper. We are all interconnected here. Under no circumstances should I see now any brother or any sister in this congregation now being abused and don't say anything.
No.
That's like one of the examples that I wanted to make when I made the example. Listen, you know what? We're living in a community. In a community, I am still responsible on how I treat my Isha, how I treat my brothers and sisters. I am. Just because you're now in the walk and just because you're a man, that does not give you the right to be abusive to your woman.
Right.
Is what we're trying to share here now is that, and you do have the right to call a counsel, even if, because this is going on, I hear a lot in the walk, where sisters now are being intimidated by men who are supposed to be in the walk. Where that man is telling the woman, you know what, I'm the man of the house, and no man has authority over me, and if I'm beating your behind, that's between just you and I.
Right.
Men are intimidating women like that. What I'm here to share, okay, is that women don't have to be threatened or feel uncomfortable in relationships like that. It is her right as a daughter of Yahuah. If she's having problems inside of her relationship, she needs to bring that to counsel, and that man needs to be reprimanded or scolded for his behavior. Because the scripture says that even if the stranger cries out because an Israelite is abusing him, if the stranger has rights where you can't abuse him or her, so much more your Isha, because she's an Israelite. How can the slave have more rights than the Israelite woman? She's first fruits.
That opens some more questions. And I think one of them is, okay, so, and I want you to tell me the differences, because on one hand, it sounds like you're saying that his responsibility doesn't end, the father's responsibility doesn't end which is what has always been taught, whether it's in Christendom or whether it's in Israelite, that the minute she leaves the house and marries a man, she is now his responsibility, and so therefore the father hands are basically tied in any situation. Now, are you saying that that is just standard Israelite law, that she is to be treated a certain way, and anybody can go in and do it? Is it under Israelite law? Is it under the responsibility of the father, or is there a difference?
If
So I say community, responsibility of community versus just the father. Is he acting as the father of this child? I mean, of this married woman who has her own home, or is he acting as just an acting person in the community?
Okay, the best way I can answer this question is this. If I was to marry, for example, one of your daughters,
Right.
what happened now is that we're now bringing the families together.
Right.
Together. That means now is that it's a community.
Right.
We're now responsible for one another. Now that I've married your daughter, all right, I now bring her to my house. Her responsibility now is to build my house. But again, we're a community. Now, in the community, there are rules that the Father set up from the very beginning. Adam and his Isha, they lived in the Garden of Eden, and they were in a community, and they were governed by community rules. If somebody breaks the community rules, that person needs to be chastised. And again, that's pretty much about the best example that I have. If we are a community, the reason why you're giving your daughter to me because you're expecting me to love your daughter. Right, exactly, to live according to Torah. You don't want to hear that I'm beating your daughter. Right. You're going to come to me, and you know what? I already know, because I already know how you are. Listen, it's all about, listen, bro, I don't care if you moray or this, you blow shofar, whatever. I'm going to tell you, brother, if you put your hands on my daughter again, listen, I'm going to lay hands on you. Exactly.
That's why I got to understand if I'm in the bill or if I'm not in the bill. Because when I go to the house, I know that I'm writing what I need to do. So, I think this is great. And again, it's different from anything that I've learned. Right. But by the same token, I think it works. Does it make sense? Because the idea is that when you're in a close-knit or tight-knit community, as an Israelite family is supposed to be, then there has to be rules. Right. There has to be things that's going to make the community last. And again, I'm hearing a lot of junk out there with these guys, some of the Israelite brothers. Well, you had one guy that just blew the wife away because she was in the child, because they felt he wasn't. 4-year-old child was not living, they felt he was gay at 4 years old. And, I mean, he ended up 4 wives or whatever he had, and he ended up killing one, and the other wives helped.
That was out in Raleigh a couple of years ago?
Yeah, well, I just saw it in the news. It might have been online, but I thought I saw it in the news maybe
yeah, that story sounds familiar. Like I might have heard that maybe about 7 to 8 years ago. It happened down in either in Charlotte or Raleigh.
Anyway, silly stuff that people got this stuff twisted and it's all backwards. So I'm just glad they teach this stuff.
Yeah.
If it sounds weird or
No, absolutely not. I've stressed this over and over and over and over again in the congregation of Yashra'al. We love our women. We protect our women. Everybody must show everybody respect. We're not about beating our women, cursing out our women. That's not. See, here we have to watch each other's back. Is what we're supposed to do. That's the only way that it can function properly.
Right.
You know, we don't want a community of women they're afraid. They allow beatings of the women inside of the congregation. Just like I told Yahusha, listen, you know what? If it ever got to the point where I had to beat you up, just go. I mean, why go through all of that? And you know, even to the point where I say, listen, you know what? I mean, like, we're all family, but I just have to keep, because I'm a real person, I'll tell you just the way that I just feel. And I'm not fearful, this is not on my mind. But I've heard a lot of things. But I just want to make sure that it's understood. If I came home and I saw the whole thing going in action, I mean, in the motion, it would take a lot out of me. But you know what I'm going to do? And, you know, we joke and we laugh. I said, listen, just give me my Bible, my strong concordance, and my laptop, and my shofar, and I'm gone.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not going to go through all of that. I'm not going to fight no woman over some man. I'm not going to do that, because my thing now is that, listen, you know what? If he's over to the house, she invited him to the house. You know, I'm not going through that. You know, I've heard stories where the man has left the house and he forgot his wallet. He went back home and he said he was only gone for 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and another dude was up in the bed. And so, you know, they got into this big fight and stuff like that. So I'm just not going to do that, bro. It's just too much. It's really, really too much. So, but I do say this, getting back to the point. It's easy. I have done this so many times. Just take a walk. Take a ride, whatever the case like that might be. I don't want to get into situations where we're arguing hard, we're fighting, cursing, saying things to one another where it's going to now be hard to forgive. It's not easy. It is definitely not easy. But just remember, the Father is watching.
Right.
He's watching. No woman should feel threatened, afraid of her ish. And long story short, when we talk about unclean, a woman being unclean, he finds some type of uncleanness in her. Me personally, I'm a scary person, meaning this. I can't even watch horror movies. Some of this stuff that's going on, I'm like, oh no, I gotta turn, because I don't know what you're saying. Would they be saying on some of these horror, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we turn it down.
Yeah, I said, oh no,
Turn it down.
I can't listen. I saw a movie called, it's not called The Incubus, it's called Insidious.
Insidious.
That movie scared the heck out of me. It scared the heck out of me. I couldn't watch it. I say that to say now is that I could not be with a woman who's conjuring up demonic spirits in the room, because I'm a scary guy. I gotta go. Gotta go. I don't want to see nothing floating around. I don't want to see no smoke coming up and somebody talking in tongues with all these. I don't want to hear that foam coming out of their mouth. And that Exodus, their head starts spinning around and all that stuff like that. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Gotta go. Because Acts 19th chapter, it tells you that these disagreeable spirits are real.
Yeah.
They're real.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be around anybody that's conjuring up these disagreeable spirits. So when you see a person now involved in Christmas, and people say that, listen, you know what, well, that's not what it means to me. I just want to get gifts and I just want to love. That's all I'm trying to do. But they're not understanding, okay, the spiritual applications behind it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's going to cause a problem eventually in your house. I mean, I don't know how else to get around it. When you start talking about Easter, when you begin to look at the pagan practices behind that, where there was a priest, I forget his name now, where he would go into all these virgins.
Right.
Go into these virgins now, and then when it's come time now for these women to give birth now, they would sacrifice all of these children now in the name of that god, Baal. Mm-hmm. And then they have some, this one particular Baal, where he's sitting down, and underneath him now, there's a fire pit. And it's constantly burning. Right. And he has his hands out like this, right? Yeah. Waiting for now the women now, these virgin women, because they have to be virgins. They have to be virgins. So these priests now go into these virgin women. They would give birth, and then they would sacrifice their firstborn to this idol. These are the explanations behind these deities out here. And then somebody said, because the scripture did say that all of the firstborns are mine.
Right.
And we're supposed to now dedicate our firstborns to the Father. But what a lot of women are doing now is that they're now aborting now their firstborn and their children now, and they don't think anything of it.
Wow.
Molech worship.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's been situations in the walk now, where brothers now have been in situations where they got their Ishas pregnant, and behind his back, she got an abortion. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Can I use Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter, where now I found some type of uncleanness in her? Because that's against Torah. You're not supposed to abort your children.
Yeah.
So that's all that I'm saying. Is that,
Clearing that up.
yeah, I mean, we just have to really be on one accord. And if your Isha is doing something else, I mean, my mom, she told me when I was younger, and I said this so many times before, if there's something else that you want to do, you can't do it here. When you turn 18, even when I was doing good, I didn't think me and my mother had any problems. She just kept reminding me, when you get 18, you get out of here. When you get 18, you get out of here. So I just say this to say now is that I was always told that if there's something that you want to do that's outside of the rules and regulations of this house, you got to do it somewhere else. And I see the Father doing the same thing. Israel wanted to do something else. It said Israel waxed fat and kicked. If something that you want to do in my house, I don't have that there. That house belongs, that's my house. My house, not your house. It's your house as long as you're following the law, statutes, and commandments. If you're not following the rules, regulations of the house, get out.
That's right.
Yes.
I was going to say also the scripture that you can use is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 14 and 15. It talks about if you have the man or the woman have an unbelieving husband or wife, Yahuah has not, they're not bound to that law. Yahuah has called them to shalom.
Right.
So if there's uncleanness, as you're explaining, or doing witchcraft, things of that nature, that's an unbeliever. They're not bound to Torah for something that Yahuah did put together. Yahuah put people that can agree together.
Right, exactly.
You said what scripture again?
Say 1 Corinthians 7 and 14, and also verse 15. And verse 15 actually said, a brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but Elohim have called us to peace. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 14 and 15. It's dealing with an unbelievable husband or wife.
Yeah, there's Ecclesiastes, there's just a lot. It talks about blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. And then it talks about how good a virtuous woman, she rejoices with her husband, and he shall fulfill his years of life in peace. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given to the portion of them which fear Yahuah, whether man be rich or poor. If he have a good heart towards the Father, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. So,
even there's another one in Sirach, I think it's Sirach 7, where it says, do you have a wife after my mind, after your mind?
Right.
So we know that Yahuah is putting that together because that's an akkad thing there. That's an agreement. When a man and a woman is put together in agreement. So I think we had spoken on this before, Brother Terrell, about when you say when Yahuah said the scripture says what Yahuah has joined together, that no man. We got to be careful on what we say Yahuah put together, because if you got a woman that's doing one thing and a man is doing another thing, I don't think Yahuah sanctioned that marriage. You got to look at that, because he only put the man and the woman together. That's an agreement in God. He said, for this a man shall leave his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall be one. So that's the Akkad, just like what it just said in Sirach 7, after your mind.
Right.
Because if you're following Torah, your woman should be following Torah also.
Right.
She shouldn't be conjuring up demons
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Exactly.
Just like I can't talk about it being of one mind, and that's that shalom. That's gonna be the key thing. Can there be peace? Whenever it gets to the point where the Isha is like, listen, you know what? Oh my gosh, here he comes again.
Right. Oh, she got it.
Yeah, you know, that's terrible. Can you imagine now? I mean, only a woman can attest to this. Can you imagine your husband beating you, disrespecting you, not being the man that he's supposed to be according to Torah? How can you be intimate with a man that's abusing? How can you give your all to him? It's almost now it's like he's raping you. You can't connect to a man that's being rude and disrespecting you. Just last night he just beat your brains out, and now he's asking to have an intimate relationship with you. How can you do that? Now watch this. I'm speaking on behalf of the women here. I'm trying to help you out. I don't see how you can do it. I don't see how you can do it. And then on the other side, I don't see how you can fully connect with a woman where she's now disagreeable. I mean, how do you do that? Watch this, and then I'll ask you a question. And again, this is compromising both parties, both the man and the woman. This is not woman bashing. I'm talking about both parties, men and women. It says now, book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, the 26th chapter, and verse 22. And I'm going to share that we're not being biased. We're going to talk about both sides here. It says, an harlot should be counted as spittle or as a swine. But a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a righteous woman is given to him that feareth Yahuah. Again, but a righteous woman is given to him that feareth Yahuah. And every man here wants a righteous woman. Now, a dishonest woman this Latin, yes. But a dishonest woman, she contempteth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear Yahuah. And everybody wants a shamefaced woman, a loving woman. A woman that honoreth her husband, watch this, shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted unrighteous of all. A loud crying woman, and nobody wants a loud crying woman, and a scold shall be sought out to drive away the enemy. So that's, I mean, you got a woman like that, send her out to the battlefield and let her drive away the enemies. A loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away the enemy. So let her do that. She just can't stop talking. And there's just always something going on with her. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man that war and suffereth poverty, and a man of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. Yahuah prepare such a one for the sword. A virgin shall hardly keep himself from wrong, and a hucksucker should not be free from sin. I was looking for the one where it says that the woman that there's three things that I hate. A woman that hates a sister, and but I'll find that. But
can I read one more?
Sure.
All right. This also it also talks about brethren. Sirach 25:1, and three things I was beautified and stood up beautifully before Yahuah, Elohim, and men. The unity of brethren. So we still that's that card again. The love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agree together.
I mean, Luke, that's it. That's it. Zakane, Achieve Zakane, hallelujah.
Could you give that scripture in Ecclesiastes
26.
Okay. 1 through
Was it 26?
26.
Yeah, that whole
1
chapter.
through 1 through 26 or just
Yeah,
1?
20, no,
Chapter 26.
1 all the way down.
Okay.
Somebody else had their hands up? I know, oh, yes, excuse me.
Yeah, I was, okay, yeah, Matthew 19 and 28, I guess it was like a reference to what he was saying, you was talking about, what he was saying when you're giving up everything to follow him, and it said everyone that have forsaken houses, brethren, sisters, father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold
Wow.
and shall inherit everlasting life.
Hallelujah.
So to me, for his name's sake, I guess that's saying that there's people that don't want to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good scripture.
And you know what? One more. This is all evolution. I mean, it goes with far as dwelling in the house, and like you were saying, if she's doing one thing or whatever the case may be, you know, you kick her out.
Yeah.
Look what Sirach 25 and 16 said. He said, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman.
Yeah.
I'd rather dwell with a dragon or a lion in the house. That woman, I don't want to be in the house with that wicked woman. So she got to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is more from 20.
It's all over.
Because they have a whole lot from 25, 16 all the
Yeah.
way down.
And the wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's tons of
What's
information.
the rock? Which one?
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha.
If you have the regular Bible app, if you download KJVA, that's the one that has it. Yeah, not regular KJV, KJVA.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, any more questions? I just want to make sure everybody understands that women are protected. We don't beat and abuse our women. But there is a cutoff. And that the whole thing with adultery, we're going to have to talk about that.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have to really talk about that. Because we don't want no, I'll say, I'll leave us on this note. Where we don't want nobody to understand. If that woman is saying, listen, you know what? I can disrespect you, call you any type of dirty, nasty name, do whatever it is that I want to do, and I can stay in this relationship because I didn't sleep with another man. Because the Father said, listen, you know what? Except they commit adultery. We're going to have to really define what that word adultery really means. There's a physical act of adultery, and then there's now another form of adultery now where the father kicked out the bride, okay, because she was involved in idolatry. So, a house divided against itself cannot stand. It just can't stand. There has to be unison, there has to be shalom, and this is the whole thing about the Shema. This is the whole thing about the mezuzah. This is the whole thing about the blood on the doorposts, all of that. And it just like what Zakar was bringing out earlier, that ketubah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. That ketubah is very important. Zakane has daughters. Terrell, you have daughters. You have daughters. I don't believe that. I just can't believe that you would stomach to see anybody beat up your daughters and you not go in and say, listen, you know what? That's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
It might be some hands later.
That's
Oh, yeah.
I don't think
Hands,
I'm
foot.
And there's no scripture saying that, you know what, you're going to not be put to death because, listen, you know what, me and you about to go at it now. There's no scripture condemning that at all. None.
because I was reading the scripture on 2 Corinthians 6-17, and it's saying, wherefore come out from among them and be separate, and said to Yahuah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So you telling us to come out from among the world, and not touch the unclean thing. Why would we be in a relationship, touching, dealing with uncleanness?
Yeah.
He's telling us to come out of the world. So
Yeah.
we're supposed to separate ourselves from uncleanness.
Yeah. Absolutely. So okay, you have, I guess, about 6-7 months. When the new year comes in, you can't do the celebration of the Black Eyed Peas in the hall, malls and children. That brings in the good luck for the year. So,
I need you to vote for something.
only that's all.
The Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, they said that's good luck. They said that if you do that, I think it's either hog balls and chitlins or a ham or one of those pork
I used to eat it though.
Yeah.
You can't do chicken chips still?
That's that chitlin.
Thing now.
You had chitlin too?
Now, eat it while it's raw.
Oh,
You had one of those raw?
No.
Oh.
That's what it is. I mean, there was like a country saying to it, it's shitterlings is what it is.
Right. Shitterlings.
No, shitterlings.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Just like you did when I came into this thing. I just put it all away. It was not. I was excited about what I was doing. It was not hard for me to turn away from stuff like that. It was just done. Okay. My wife over here.
Oh. Every once in a while, I gotta have that shrimp scampi, right?
Nah, I'm gonna tell you something. It was hard to turn it down sometimes. You know, after you've done a month or two, you're not interested in it no more. It's so easy.
Yeah. If you actually look at it, I mean, if you look at a crawfish or a shrimp, it looks nasty. I mean,
It does.
it just looks. I call them water roaches.
Right.
It just looks nasty. And I was told when I was younger, oh baby, listen, don't eat my mother shared with me how to eat your crab. Open it up and the yellow stuff. It's the crab and eggs.
Yeah, that's the manure.
Yeah, that's what that is.
That's the manure.
That's the manure. Yeah, but because they do their business inside of the shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what that is. And then they have something else in there. They tell me not to eat that because something called a dead man. Don't eat that because that's a rubbery thing.
Dead man.
Don't eat that.
Yeah, it's called dead man. Part that's inside. Oh, really? You just ate it like that?
Hey,
I got a good wife. I got a good wife. She clean.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. So, okay. I got
She
you.
helps me to defile myself.
all right.
That's what I'm used to.
Yeah, that's all
Hey,
right.
speaking of crabs and stuff, did y'all see the lady that said she saw Jesus inside the crab?
Oh my God. Yeah, she saw the fish. I wouldn't lie. Yes, she probably did see Jesus.
She probably did.
Yeah, she did.
Yahusha.
She did see Yahusha.
It wasn't Yahushua, no, it was Jesus.
It's Caesar.
She wouldn't leave it. They're like, no.
Anything else, Mr. McCarthy?
These are, let's real quick, these are neighbors of ours.
Okay, hallelujah.
This is Serena Anderson. Eric Thomas.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna have to do their wedding soon.
Okay.
We're working on that.
All right, hallelujah.
But they came for the first time, I think you got some questions later that you might want to talk about.
Okay, absolutely. Welcome to the congregation, and we have a coach here, Parag. She'll take down your information and all that good stuff, and hope to see you again. I mean, if any questions, feel free to ask, and it should be good. stand up, face the east, blow the shofar, and we have Shabbat.
And then we can do the announcement.
Okay, yes, we do the announcements after all of that. Sure.
You know, Maury, you got this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna try something. If you want to go, you can go. If you want to blow, you can blow it so you can get more practice with it. Okay, yeah, definitely. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
Yashra'al, building us up from the inside out. We just thank you that you continue to do those things with your son, Yahusha, Mashiyach. Father, we just ask that you continue to keep us, to guard us, keep us reminded of your Shema, keep us reminded of the Torah, Father. Keep us reminded of the things that your prophets warned Yashra'al about, Father. We just thank you.